Boy here again, and today we are reviewing Touken Ranbu episode 5. Um, I really enjoyed the episode. Um, with the exception of we've seen in episode one, in the opening. I I highly recommend it. I highly recommend just about all of what I've seen of the series so far. Um, and I really like how it talked about the way, um, kind of how God is able to use unexpected things, and kind of how we see through one of the characters' responses to a arriving sword warrior, um how he was worried and felt like he had lost favor with the master, and it is really well done how you see through the interactions of people how unexpected things can plan out to be most helpful or most necessary circumstances. Like with the small example is where in the first part where they are trying to make one of the newest sword warriors feel welcome, and the stuff with the hospitality where everyone was trying so hard and trying to be so extravagant to try to make him feel warm and welcome, but really the things that made him feel most welcome and that he was comforted and welcomed by the most were petting the fox and the little part of the song that one of the sword warriors played that he remembered fondly. And but the um but with the two sword warriors, um he was surprised when when he was when the new sword that arrived in this episode was claimed to be the leader, like requested to be the leader on the mission. And I like how the theme of the episode was kind of hinted at subtly with them talking about the mission and talking about how many times they had been sent to that place and how easy the the enemies that the retrograde army sent on that mission were to defeat, and kind of all the speculation done by the sword warriors about why would the master have them go there that soon after, and stuff like why would it only be a three sword warrior team. But through that, we see his the frustration of the sword warrior. I can't quite remember their names right now, but and how his mental state kind of got in the way, and his arrogance distracted him from doing the best he could. And we he has a talk with his friend on the roof about how much he's humbled by that, and how he feels that the masters must be frustrated with him, especially now with how many mistakes he felt that he had made during the mission. But the the sword that the sword warrior that arrived today was arrived in the episode was also sat on the roof with them and talked about why the master wanted that warrior to be on the mission with him, and why the commands were what they were. Like, he talked about how through those circumstances he was able to show what he could do, and also he was able to learn under the new sword warrior was able to learn one on one, like hands on training of being the leader for a mission from from one of the master's highly favored, and someone that the master views as one of the best leaders, one of the sword warriors to be the best leaders of the missions. And now I'm going to, and with the main message from a Christian perspective that I got from this was that though we have plans and stuff, and might not always understand what God is doing, we can trust that God has a plan, and though our perceptions of situations at the time may seem bleak or confusing, we can trust in knowing that God is fully in control and knows why He has called us to places, calls us to do the actions and to the places that He has called us to. The passage I'm reading for today is Ephesians chapter 4, verses 10 through 13. And the same one who descended is the one who ascended higher than all the heavens, so that he might fill the entire universe with himself. Now, these are the gifts Christ gave to the church: the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, and the pastors and teachers. Their responsibility is to equip God's people to do his best work and build up the church, the body of Christ. This will continue until we all come to such unity in our faith and knowledge of God's Son that we will be mature in the Lord, measuring up to the full and complete standard of Christ. As Christians, and like God did, it is not our job to save people and simply do what we can and be good Christians and good people during our lives. We are called to go and make disciples who make disciples. This means we do need to help do what God has called us to in order to bring others to come to know Christ. But also it means when we when people come to know Christ and are young in their faith, we need to remember to walk with them, and we need to remember to I'm gonna look something up real quick so I can give names. I think his name is Yaman. Mm, Um, but like the main one of the main characters, sword leaders, the one who worried about his role and him being in the master's favor, and how it found out that like he wasn't being demoted as much as they had him do a mission where the new sword leader where the new sword warrior was leading, so that the new sword warrior would be, though he was great in power, he he had little experience in being a sword warrior and going on missions. So though they wanted to have him lead, they wanted him to also learn under one of the sword warrior that the master viewed very highly and respected and viewed him as a great leader. As we are called to do ministry, there will be times where we are called to other places, or God puts it on our hearts to step back from things, even from ministries. And in those times, and through knowing that someday we will no longer be here, we need to be humble enough and willing to think of others and be selfless in following God's plan and do what we can and do what God calls us to for the sake of expanding the kingdom and helping and guiding the people that God will continue to use even after our time and our season on the earth of serving God and doing ministry and making disciples who make disciples comes to an end. And when we say that, and we say these things, with that being said, may God be with you and see you next time. Bye.